Blast me to Mordor! It's time for the Mad Merlins unboxing of The Lord of the Rings Battle in Balins Tomb by Games Workshop. Hello everybody and welcome to the Mad Merlins unboxing of The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring Battle in Balins Tomb by Games Workshop. This is a game for people ages 12 plus. Takes around 30 to 45 minutes to play and is for 2+ players. In the box you get 22 Citadel miniatures, which if we flip around we can see. So the contents of the box: we get 1 rule manual and divider, 13 character cards, 9 for the Fellowship, 3 for the Moria Goblins and 1 for the Cave Troll, 1 game board detailing the layout of Balins Tomb, 1 blue plastic frame containing the Fellowship of the Ring and the turn counter, 1 red plastic frame containing 12 Moria Goblins, 1 grey plastic frame containing a Cave Troll, 3 blue the Fellowship dice, 2 red Goblin dice and 1 grey Cave Troll dice. We also get 20 Goblin cards to make up the Goblin deck and 20 wound counters for the heroes and the Troll. So, in their quest to destroy the One Ring, the Fellowship have journeyed into the depths of Moria. Yet, as they venture through the darkness, they disturb the slumbering evil that dwells in the fell heart of the mountain. Barricading themselves within the ruins of Balins Tomb, the Fellowship must fend off the onslaught of Moria Goblins and the mighty Cave Troll if they are to survive. Will you choose to take control of the Fellowship and fight for the protection of Frodo Baggins? Or command the Goblins hordes and try to overwhelm the Fellowship and bring it to its knees? The fate of the ring bearer is in your hands. So without further ado, let's cut in and open up. Hang on. I think I'll have to go vertical for this. That's better. So, here we have top of the box. Nice circular design with a ring, Aragorn in the centre, and we've got Gimli and Legolas off to the side. The Lord of the Rings logo, and the name of the game. So let's open her up and see what's inside. So, first off, we're met with a hoard of plastic. I'll show these off quickly. That's the Goblins, Cave Troll, and the Fellowship. I must admit that's a better looking blue than the blue they showed online. The blue I saw online was a lot paler and a little bit more off-putting. Good thing we had a divider, because that's punctured right through. On reverse, we've got the instructions. Most of these models are just clip off and push together, so it makes it easy to play, easy to build and easy to play. We've got a baggie of bases for all our models, our dice, the Goblin tech and character cards, and then we have our rule book and our board and our wound counters, and a little baggie to store all our wound counters in. So let's take a look at our plastic components first of all. So here we have the Fellowship of the Ring in blue plastic. This is the same one that you get in the plastic Fellowship set, as well as what came in my very first wargaming purchase, the Mines of Moria Lord of the Rings starter set, all the way back in 2008. I bought the Hobby edition, which came with paints to help you paint all the models, and it came with an extra set of Goblins, giving you 36 instead of the 24, so that's quite nice. I've already got 2 spare frames of goblins, which I've been holding onto for a long time, and this game might be just what I need to finally get on and build and paint them. But as you can see, we have Aragorn, who is made out of 2 components, his main body and his sword arm. Boromir, who is the same, sword arm and his main body there. Legolas is all one piece. We got the one ring turn counter. Mr. Frodo Baggins with Sting. Sam with his trusty frying pan. Then we got Meriadoc and Pippin. On the bottom end of the sprue, we have the last 2 members of the Fellowship. We got Gimli, who's the last dwarf in Moria to still draw breath. And then we have Gandalf the Grey, who had the honour of being the very first Citadel model I ever painted. So next we have the Cave Troll, who's just made up of a few small components. We got the back of his body, his main torso here, the head, his left arm with his chain. Then he has the option of a hammer or spear for his right arm. If we flip over, we can see how he goes together. Just a couple of posts and pegs. So again, it makes it easier just to quickly assemble these models. I do believe this was also on the same sprue originally as the scenery that came with the Mines of Moria set. I can't remember. It's been a long time since I had that set. But it's nice to finally have this model again on its own. And here we have the Moria Goblins. So we get 4 with shield and sword, 4 with spear, and 4 with bow. What I often like to do is use the more heavily armoured ones as captains, and then have the other warriors as just members of a warband. But you got a nice selection of goblins in various different poses. And again, they just clip out, push fit models. I have to be careful with that one. There's a fair bit of damage on that spear. Other than that, all the models are in rather good condition. And moving on, we've got our dice. So each of the different cards will show what dice each character rolls and how many. So we've got the Cave Trolls, single defense, double defense, single attack, double attack, and a miss. The Goblins, who have single attack, single defense, special, and a miss. And then the Fellowship have the One Ring special, single attack, or single defense. Next we have our stack cards. So let's go through all our model characters. So we've got Frodo, who can move 4 hexes, attacks with 1 blue, defends with 2 blue, and has 2 wounds. So he can only attack, enemies can only attack Frodo if they are adjacent, so he can't get hit by ranged. If he rolls a ring when making a defense roll, he may put the ring on and ignore all wounds for the whole attack. Also, Frodo may move up to 3 squares. Sam, again, same as Frodo for stats, moves 4, attacks 1, defends 2, and only has 1 wound. He has an ability to throw stones, hitting enemies up to 5 squares away. If he rolls a ring, he may make an attack. While making an attack roll against an adjacent enemy, he may immediately move 1 square and make another attack. Meriadoc, or Merry. Same stats for move and wounds as Sam. Only 1 attack for 1 dice for attack and 1 dice for defense though. And he has the ability to throw stones. And if he rolls a ring on a defense roll, he may choose to represent 2 shields instead of 1. And Pippin, same as Merry, 4, 1, 1, and 1. Again, throw rocks ability. And if he rolls a ring while making a defense roll, he may choose it to represent 2 defenses instead of choosing another result. So that's handy. Gandalf has a move of 6, attacks with 2 blue dice, defends with 3 blue dice, has 3 wounds. Gandalf may use his sorcerer's powers to move a goblin. Choose a goblin within 3 squares of Gandalf and move it up to 3 squares. This move does not allow for a sudden strike. The 1 ring, if Gandalf rolls a ring when making an attack roll, he may immediately make another attack against another enemy up to 5 squares away. This can be used once per turn. Aragorn has a move of 6, attack of 3, defense of 3, and 3 wounds. Aragorn can attack any enemy he can see, regardless of its distance. If the enemy is not in an adjacent square, he uses 2 blues instead of 3, where he shoots with his bow. On a 1 ring, Aragorn's attack rolls may choose to represent 2 attacks instead of choosing any other result. Legolas has a move of 6, attack of 2, defense of 2, and 2 wounds. He can attack any enemy he can see, regardless of distance. If the enemy is not adjacent, he has 3 attacks instead of 2, showing his more keen ability with the bow. If he rolls a ring when making an attack roll against a non-adjacent enemy, he may immediately make another attack against a non-adjacent enemy. This extra attack uses a single blue dice. So Gimli has a move of 5, attack of 2, defense of 2, and 3 wounds. Gimli is so tough he can ignore 1 wound each time a goblin makes an attack against him. And if he rolls a ring while making a defense roll, he can also ignore an additional hit from the troll. And then we have Boromir, who has a move of 6, attack of 2, defense of 3, and 3 wounds. Members of the Fellowship may re-roll 1 blue dice when making a defense while adjacent to Boromir for his shield. And when making an attack roll, if he rolls a ring, he may bash 1 adjacent goblin with his shield. This pushes the goblin 1 square away. So each Moria goblin can move 5 squares, attacks with 2 red dice, defends with 1 red dice, and has a single wound. Moria goblins with a shield may re-roll 1 of their defense dice. So that's handy. Goblins with spears can move 5, attack 1, defend 1, and have 1 wound. Moria goblins with a spear may attack enemies up to 2 squares away. And finally, Moria goblins with bows have a move of 5, attack of 1, defense of 1, 1 wound. Moria goblins with bow may attack any enemy they can see. And finally, our cave troll has a move of 6, attacks with 2 red dice, defends with 2 red dice and 1 grey dice, and has 5 wounds. The ability, the cave troll may attack enemies up to 3 squares away. If the enemy is in an adjacent square, the cave troll uses his defense dice, so 2 red and 1 grey, instead of the 2 red. And then we're back to Frodo. So next we have our 20 Goblin cards. So we've got Drums in the Deep. Goblin player places a single Moria goblin next to the well. You got that one twice for 1, and again twice for doing 2 goblins. We cannot get out. The Goblin player places any 1 Moria goblin next to each of the trapdoors, 1 goblin on the entrance to the tomb, and 1 goblin next to the well. Got that one twice. Goblin reinforcements. The Goblin player places any 2 goblins at the entrance. You get that one 6. You got that 7 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 7 times. So that'll be your most common reinforcement card. They are coming, so the goblin player places 1 goblin next to each trapdoor and 1 next to the well. They are coming, places 2 goblins next to the entrance and 1 next to the well. Goblin Ambush, the goblin player places 1 goblin next to each of the trapdoors. Got that one twice, 3 times, 4 times. And finally, they have a cave troll. The goblin player places the cave troll on its starting squares. So, that's our goblin cards. I'll just quickly open up all our cardboard contents and I'll be back. Okay, now we can go through all our card components. So we have a sheet of wound markers. We get 20. These will be used to keep track of your wounds on your cave troll and on your fellowship. We have our divider, which has a nice view of the entrance of Balins Tomb. And as I showed earlier, on the reverse has our instructions on how to put all our models together. We get our rule booklet, which is a very thin but very large printed booklet. So it shows all the contents, how to win the game. So the fellowship wins the game at the end of the 12th turn, and there are 3 or more members of the fellowship left on the board. That must include Frodo. If at the end of the 12th turn, 3 or more members of the fellowship are remaining but Frodo has been defeated, the game is a draw. The goblin wins at the end of the 12th turn if there are less than 3 members of the fellowship remaining. So setting up the board, each model has its own specific starting space, and you set up 9 goblins in the doorway, and all your spare models are stored at the side as well as dice. So your turns. So the game is divided into 12 turns. At the start of each turn, move the turn counter 1 space. Each character has their profile represented by their cards. Each model can get a chance to move using the move characteristic on their card. And when they attack, they got their special ability dice. So sword, shield, and 1 ring for the fellowship. Sword, shield, and the eye for the goblins. Troll hammer, double troll hammer, and double shield for the troll. So each model can make an attack on their turn. They can only attack an enemy that they are adjacent to, although some models have the ability to attack at range. And we got explanation on line of sight. So any of this terrain will obviously block line of sight. So Frodo is ducking behind the tomb there. So the goblin can't see him, but he can see Pippin. Rolling your defense dice. So for the fellowship, the red shield of Boromir will count as your defense, and the goblin shield will count as defense for the goblins. Then we got the 1 ring and the Eye of Sauron, which triggers special abilities, which we've already gone through on the individual cards. And then we have, finally, the rules for the Goblin deck. So at the start of the turn, you set up your 9 goblins. Before the game starts, remove. They have a cave troll from the deck. Shuffle the remaining cards and deal 6 face down. Next place, they have a cave troll card in the remaining cards and shuffle them and place the shuffle cards on top of the 6 cards you have already dealt. This will form your goblin deck. So at the start of from the second turn onwards, you will draw cards depending on the turn. So 1 card for turns 2, 3, 4, and 5. 2 cards for turns 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, and then 3 cards on 11 and 12. If at any point they have a cave troll, you place a cave troll at the entrance. If there are any goblins on the cave troll space on the board, remove them from the game. The cave troll has squashed them and has rushed into the battle. And then on the back, we got some little bonuses of challenges. So the hero of the fellowship win the game with all 9 members alive. Hobbits really are remarkable creatures. Defeat the cave troll with any of the 4 hobbits. There is one dwarf in Moria who still draws breath. Have Gimli defeat a Moria goblin in every turn. The King of Gondor, defeat the cave troll with Aragorn in any 2 consecutive turns or less. All 5 wounds must be caused by Aragorn. Protect the halflings. If either Merry or Pippin are alive at the end of the 12 turns. Then the Moria Goblin challenges. Rampaging Cave Troll, defeat any member of the Fellowship with more than 1 wound in a single turn using the Cave Troll. The Cave Troll must cause all those wounds. The Depths of Moria, defeat all members of the Fellowship in 8 turns. Troll Chain, defeat any 2 members that are not adjacent to the Troll in a single turn, or in a single game. The Time of Men is over, defeat either Aragorn or Boromir with a Goblin with Spear. Pointy-eared Elvish Princeling, defeat Legolas with a Moria Goblin with Bow. And we got the Fellowship here, all painted up. Painters look like the characters from the movies, so there's plenty of reference material online on how to paint them. You can always visit the Middle-earth Strategy Battlegame.com website to find out more about collecting, building and painting. And lastly, we have our board. So I thought this should be 12 inches by 12 inches, giving us a total spread of 24 inches. And using my Imperium ruler, it's only 11 inches by just over 11. Nope, 11 by 11. So we got 22-inch board, but our play area is only this small section here. I'll just unfold this quickly. And here we have our board all spread out. I'll move the camera a little bit. We can see we've got the turn counter at the side, 1 to 12. Got the Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring logo at the top of the board. We have our Goblin starting spaces. All darker red are areas that block sight. Any of the visible terrain also blocks sight. And then we got starting spaces for all our Fellowship members. Our trapdoors and the well. So, it's a rather nice detailed board. If you still have the Mines of Moria terrain pieces like I do, hopefully you should be able to fit them over here if they're not too big. If they are, I'm sure they would still make some nice little additions to the board to help bring it to life. I am planning, which I have been planning for a long time to do, is make a battle game in a box. So basically I get a box that hopefully fits the board and will be able to close shut and open and have space for all your terrain. Also be deep enough to have space for different levels. And also space to set up your door and all your other terrain. So there we have it. And there you have it. That's the unboxing of the Lord of the Rings Fellowship of the Ring Battle in Balins Tomb. So what do I think about this game? I think, being a Lord of the Rings fan, this is a fantastic little game. It stores perfectly on your bookshelf. It's condensed enough to be its own game in a box. You can always expand it, getting more goblins, maybe even a second cave troll. If you are lucky to have 2 sets, you can build a bigger deck of the cards. I'm not too sure, I haven't fully read the instructions, so I'm not too sure if the deck gets reshuffled if it runs out, or if it just runs out. But you could always add in a mechanic that the deck reshuffles after a certain amount of turns, say every 4. And then get to increase the number of goblins, obviously, would be nice. A bit more of a harder challenge. To make things a little bit more interesting, on the Fellowship side, you could double the wounds, perhaps. Or give each member of the Fellowship a chance to do 4 actions a turn, so 2 moves and 2 attacks. But as it is, it's a really nice game in a box. Perfect for Christmas or family game night. So my next job is to get these guys built and painted, and then hopefully play a game. So I will be doing that next weekend, hopefully, as I plan to have a nice little weekend day. I'm going to order in a pizza, sit up, watch Fellowship, build and paint these guys, and then generally just have a very chilled Hobbit day. Because this game celebrates the 20th anniversary of the Fellowship of the Ring, which came out December 2001. Wow, that was a long time ago. So it even predates my hobby existence, but it's still a great film and a great game spawned from that film. So this has been Merlin. I'd like you to please like, comment, share and subscribe if you'd like to find more follow me for more mad content. There will be a link in the description down below for my affiliate link for Curton Games. There's also the Buy Me a Coffee link if you'd like to help donate towards the channel's upkeep. Oh, before I forget, the price for this was £45, brand new from Games Workshop. You can of course get a little bit cheaper at your local game store. Of course, it has been so popular, it's actually currently sold out. So you'll have to try your luck in stores or if it gets a re-release. So again, I'd like to thank you for watching. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. Use all my links in the description down below. And I will see you next time for more mad content. Goodbye.